Let's see if there's still feedback. Hello, 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 hello. Nope.
Hello, hello, hello. He was messing with me. I kept clicking accept, and it wouldn't come up.
Oh, Erik. Hi, Erik again.
Hi, Mommy. Hi, everybody.
This is take 2.
Yes.
We're going to talk about animals, like earthly animals. First of all, do they have egos?
Yes.
Go on.
Because he said, well, if you're going to talk about if they have egos, they do, because that helps them individualize themselves so that they fit in a role within their community. He goes, but if we're going to sit around and talk about them being egocentric, like being able to identify their ego and claim that it is better than others, then no, not necessarily.
Okay. Do they have emotions?
Yes.
Really? And well, I guess they're different in different species, right?
They're different in different species.
Like a dolphin's emotions is probably different than a cat's emotions, right?
You mean the range of their emotions, Mom?
I don't know. Tell me what I'm thinking.
Okay. He says the range of emotions or the depth of the emotion is going to be different because that's based on, okay, well then categorize it or dumb it down. So he's now doing an umbrella thing and he's going to talk about it, with 4.
Okay.
He goes, not 3, not 2.
But 4.
Like an infomercial. Okay, with the nervous system, how developed the nervous system is, how developed their consciousness is, so you can base that on a level of intelligence if you would like. He goes, I'm not going to argue. Environmental stimulation, right? So we got our earthworm, we're dealing with a specific range of temperatures. If we're living above ground like humans, we have a wider range of temperatures. And he says the 4th is the ability of, he says emotional quality, but I wanted him to say it different because I think that will go over. It's going over my head, Erik.
What do you mean, emotional quality, Erik?
The translation, their ability to translate, that's different than the level of consciousness or intelligence. It's how do you take that intelligence and translate it into emotion.
Okay.
So it's almost intelligence is the car, and this other piece he's talking about is kind of the gas that can make the car go, or how hard the person can push on the pedal to make it take off. And so he's boiling it down to those 4 because a lot of our animal nation, they don't possess all 4 of these qualities.
Oh.
And they possess them with different degrees. And that's pretty much based on their environmental need, their purpose in their community. He's even talking about role-playing with lions, that, of course, the male lion has different needs. They have a different range of emotion. And the female lion, she's hardwired for specific triggers, and that will limit or contain the type of emotion. He goes, but if we're looking across the board at happiness, jealousy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because jealousy suggests that we do identify that we have an ego.
Yeah.
There is something over there that is slightly different than mine, or you're doing something that I don't approve of.
They have that? Earthworms don't have that, do they? I mean, don't you have to have a certain level of intellect?
Yes, he goes, that's what I'm saying.
The jealous earthworm. Okay.
He goes, that's the name of our kid's book, Mom.
That's true, the jealous
earthworm.
No, guys, we were talking about maybe the next book, Erik. We can channel a book for children from Erik so he can explain some of the things he explained in his second book, in his first book. All right, so dogs and humans. Tell me about the difference between them emotion-wise.
Eric's talking about the level of domestication.
Mm-hmm.
We're assuming when you're saying dogs, domestic canine, because the wolf, coyote, he's naming other canine branches, that they have a different kind of intuitive sense that leads to a different range of emotion. But with dogs being so dedicated into a servant role, into a community role, and been with human culture for so long, he says he just paced right back behind me and he goes, I'm just going to fucking say it.
Go.
I was like, say it, man.
It.
You're driving me crazy. He goes, I will take dogs and I will take human emotions and I'll put them on the same level.
Okay.
They understand protectiveness, jealousness, happiness, loyalty, fear, excitement, loss, grief. He says, I'm running through kind of all these emotions and needs, and they're so similar to each other.
What about
the thing
cats?
that we're missing is human language.
Yes. What about cats? Are they similar to?
Similar. He goes, I'd put them in many cases above and right below human experience. They don't line up as equally.
Okay.
Because they're not driven so intently to that loyal and that community. They're really hardwired to say, okay, this isn't working. I'm standalone now. I'm good with that. And they can very much survive like that. So that heightens different kinds of sets of emotion.
Okay. Is there any other animal that is very similar to humans? Like, not earthworms, but
dolphins?
I was just going to say dolphins. Yes.
He was waiting for you to say it.
I was toying with the idea of just letting him come out with it and not put words in his mouth. All right, so that's similar. What about spiritual missions? Do they have spiritual missions like contracts, just like we do for our human experience? Do they have the animal experience?
Oh, hell yes, they do.
Really? Like, what would be an example of a contract or some sort of mission they would have?
He says, let's go back to domestic dog.
Okay.
Domestic dog, being with a family. Let's say the job was to help its parent companion through cancer. Help them learn unconditional love, compassionate, to help them lose weight, to learn how to be a friend. There's a lot of these qualities. Of course, it's not about coming in to help them, monetarily or kind of have more of the human experience. When we look at animal to human relationships, it's really based on emotional communication, emotional enhancement, about, say it one more time, about understanding the intelligence behind emotional purpose. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Understanding intelligence behind purpose. Okay.
What about something like another type of canine, like a coyote? What kind of contracts or spiritual missions could they have if they don't interact with human beings? So,
well, they interact with other life forms, trees, insects, ecosystems, Mother Earth. All that has a desire for a balance. And remember, balance, not 50-50. Balance is when everything is cohesive and working to fulfill everybody's needs.
Okay.
Right? So 50% frogs and 50% deer doesn't necessarily mean balance. I don't know.
I don't know why you went off on that tangent, but
random. So with coyotes, we can look at their contract being to balance the ecosystem. Some coyotes, he likes to call them the urban coyote. We have those, actually. They're in my backyard.
Really?
And I live in town Atlanta.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, I thought there was a baby left in my backyard one night, and I flung open the doors and ran out, and there was 3 coyotes standing in my
Oh,
backyard. And
oh,
they're not as
cute.
big as I expected them to be,
No,
though.
there's me too. They always look smaller than I think they're supposed to be big as a wolf, but they're not.
Yes, I think that's what I had too, and they weren't. A little confused. But he says the urban coyote, he says, I like it because most of their contract is about unity,
Uh-huh.
acceptance of all, coexistence, right? Because they're not marching in to kind of say, hey, here I am, wild creature, kill me.
Yeah.
He says they're looking for balance. He kind of turned corners and started talking about something else. And he says, if we look at any wildlife creature, he goes from safari to jungle to desert, whatever, their natural instinct is not force. It's really not about attacking. They attack when they're being pushed. They're attacked when they feel they have been misplaced, or they're being aggressive. Their environment is being aggressive with them, or that you're being aggressive with them. In nature, there is a lot of harmony. It's based on harmony. That's how it always thrived.
Yeah.
He leans over to me, he goes, until your stomach starts to growl. Then it's
Why
not
your
based
stomach's
on harmony anymore.
oh, your stomach growled? Oh yeah, oh
No. Yeah, until the animal is like, I'm hungry now, so I'm
know,
going to
really.
reach out there and kill you so I can eat you.
Yeah.
Because, but still, that's a level of life cycle and harmony.
Okay. Well, can humans can they come back as humans sometimes, and can humans come back as animals?
He goes, I stand by my word. Any life force energy can come back as any living being.
Okay. Interesting. So you can come back as a tree if you want to.
Yes.
That's cool. What about guides? Do they have guides? Spirit guides, just like we do?
He said yes, but I don't want people to get caught up that the word spirit guide just means like human shaped.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because when we look at Earth, we go through that intelligence thing, like food chain and shit like that. Humans are always like, woo, we're at the top, yay, us. And, to be a guide, you must be a human, yay, us. Because it's not how it goes over here.
Okay, so you could have a coyote spirit guide if you're a coyote. We could probably have animal spirit guides too, huh?
He said, I was going to share with you, a coyote could have a turtle guide.
Wow.
Or a person guide. Or alien guide.
Well, I mean, there's just spirits. They're not incarnated, so they would just be a spirit, not a coyote or a turtle. Okay. So basically you just have a spirit that could be any life form if you wanted. And that's your guide. Okay. What about thought creating reality? I mean, we do that. You do that, Erik. Can animals create reality with their thoughts?
Absolutely.
Okay.
He's like, they manifest a hell of a lot easier than we do.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, because we're so focused in hearing communication from somebody else and taking it as truth, rather than looking at where are they coming from and what are they really conveying, which is what they're feeling.
Yeah.
Animals don't pull that shit.
Oh.
There's a more authentic way of communication. So,
okay.
With that being said, if you're trying to manifest something, the playing field is a hell of a lot more cleaner, not a lot of weeds. But with humans, we like to put a lot of weeds, to mask something or to hide something out of fear of being attacked or put down or shameful, or fear of being too prideful, too good. So there's all that shit that gets in the way. Animals really don't have that.
Okay. Interesting. Now, one more question about animals, and I want to ask how it went when you met our little pets, like Zoe and Peanut, well, Peanut and Penny crossed after you, but how was it seeing Zoe when you crossed over, Erik?
He thought you were going to ask if animals cross-dress.
A
little disappointed that you came up with this question.
You can answer that if
you
want to. Go
since
ahead.
you asked it. No, Mom, I'll answer. Please. He said it was it was surprising. I like that word because once you've seen all your dead family and dead people, you're kind of catching on. You know, I'm going to see everybody who's died. And what the thing you don't catch on to is that when you see your pet, that they now can communicate to you. I mean, it's no longer the dog says woof. The person says hi. You know, like all of a sudden you've got the same language.
Wow.
And he goes, that's the surprise gig. And you know, you're quick to kind of ask. I was quick to ask the, you know, how are you? What do you think? You know, how long have you been here? What are you doing? Like, just wanting to understand what was going on. But yet, each of my pets that I came across were quick to let me know who they were in relationship to me and what that contract was in our life. And they were also quick to show me what I didn't understand in our relationship. Like I was really disappointed that what I thought was funny to do with them, to spook them, to tease them, to run them, you know, it's really fucking funny to see them jump up and get all crazy and go and yay, it's all fun, that they weren't having the same experience. You know, for them, it was almost like sometimes being hunted, like they didn't know I was coming up behind them or coming around the corner or, you know, just yelling really loud and them not understanding why. And, you know, that they didn't have the same humor that I had. And then it didn't translate in the way that I wanted it to. And he said, I definitely would change the way that I would interact with animals. I wouldn't humanize them by any means, but I would definitely look more at what their needs are compared to what kind of environment I provide for them.
Okay. All right. Very nice. That's a good place to end off on.
Yeah.
Unless you have anything else to add, baby.
Just that I love you.
I love you too. Everybody, wait for the messages that follow.
Yay.
And go pick up a copy of Erik's book because it will change your life. Bye.
He says, bye, everybody. Prank you later.
Oh, and you will.